Hey everyone. It kind of surprises me because I was thinking about talking about this and I wasn't too sure how fans would react to my opinions on it. Uh, but you know what is really, really weird about this is everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has the right to change their mind about something. Everybody has the right to say they're not a fan, but then they later on, because they've probably given it a chance, probably learned more about it, are willing to come out and say they have become a fan, that it's won them over. I came out here through text and even through reading some of that text, which you can see in the description box of said video. I asked the question of whether or not I'm a brony now and pretty much indicated that I was. Maybe not to the extent of, I watch the series every day, not to the extent that a majority of the merchandise of other franchises that I collect get overshadowed by the MLP because, quite frankly, the Transformers, Sonic, and, other collectibles that I have outshadow the MLP. But with that said, but with that said, we all have a right to change our minds and have our opinions about something. Back in 2011, 2010, I had the opinion of, hey, I'm not a brony. And I had all intentions at that time to not be a brony. Had I known about 5, 6 years later, I would slowly become one, and the show, through some of its funny scenes that people post on YouTube, some of the reviews, some of the uh, comic adaptations like Friends Forever, the way they're written and told would win me over. And just the fact that the fact that this franchise has broken down barriers and has gone beyond the intended audience that it was originally intended for. So I have a right to my opinion of, hey, now I now I like the show, or I like this franchise. I have an opinion. I have a right to change my mind and have a difference of opinion on it, different from what I had several years ago to now. And I have an opinion to not like the Gem movie they did back last year. I mean, when we saw that when we got the teaser poster for it, we had hope for it. We thought, okay, this is it. We're gonna get Gem. What we got instead was a steaming pile of crap. Truth be told, and they didn't really start to beat Gem until the damn mid-credit scenes where the Misfits were introduced, and that was it. It was like, where was Jim this whole time? Where was this during the movie? So, I have my rights to not like the Gem movie, and a majority of fans do not like Gem, you know, because of the fact that it's not what Gem was. It was not some kind of incarnation of what Gem was to begin with. So we all have a right to our opinions. But when it comes to when it comes to the Ghostbusters movie coming out in the next month or so, it seems you can't even have an opinion on it. Now, I watched the trailer, the first trailer, the teaser. I thought it was okay, but I can kind of I can kind of see exactly where Joe Vargas, AlphaOmegaSin, and James Wolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd, are all coming from. I mean, here's a franchise in Ghostbusters that is 32 years old. The last Ghostbusters film we had was around 1992, I believe. 1989, actually. 1989, I believe, was the last Ghostbusters film. Hold on. Let me check. 1989, I believe. 1989-90 was the last Ghostbusters film. I think. Hold on. Good. 1989. It had been basically now 20. Well, it was 25, 27 years. I think when it came out, 27 years. Yeah, it's 27 years next month. It came out in theaters. 27 years. And in that 27 years, we were always hoping for either Ghostbusters 3 or some kind of movie connected to Ghostbusters that would at least let us know it was not the end. Now, when we got the Ghostbusters game on the PC, PS3, Xbox 360, and I'm sure towards the beginning of the PS4 and the Xbox One, and even the Wii U and the Wii got it, I believe. A lot of people, even James Rofle, have come out and said that pretty much was, and even AlphaOmegaSin said it best, that they consider that Ghostbusters game, because it retained all the original voice actors from all the original actors from Bill Murray to Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and I can't think of the other guy's name, but it basically brought them all back. And it felt, even though I've never played the game, it felt, from what I understand, as a legit follow-up to Ghostbusters 3. I mean, Ghostbusters 2. Like, this was Ghostbusters 3, but in video game form. In fact, all you'd have to do is take out the video game footage, use the cutscenes, like a lot of people have been doing with a lot of video games lately, or over the past few years, and there you would go. You'd have Ghostbusters 3. So when the news came out that a Ghostbusters movie was going to happen, and the potential of a Ghostbusters 3 was still up in the air, or still a reality of some kind, a lot of us were ecstatic, I guess you could say. A lot of true fans of the franchise were ecstatic at the fact that we were getting another Ghostbusters film. Now, let's be honest. When we heard it was going to be a female cast, a lot of us pretty much thought, okay, we're cool with that. Let them be, okay, we're cool. Making an all-female team, we're cool with that. Because when we heard that potentially Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, before his passing, Harold Ramis, and basically the original Ghostbuster characters were going to be in the film in some kind of cameo form, or in some kind of part. See, Ernie Hudson. Yeah, Ernie Hudson. Um, when we heard the potential that they were going to show up, um, when we heard he was going to show up, or we heard they were going to show up, I should say, in the movie in some kind of form, whether it was a cameo or not. A lot of us thought that it would to be a lot of us thought basically it would to pass the torch to this female team. Again, we had no problem with an all-female cast. All right, we had no problem with the all-female cast. The problem I think people had was when they saw the trailer. But even before that, I think the problems really started to arise when it was being talked about that this wasn't going to be a follow-up. This wasn't going to be some kind of some kind of soft retcon or reboot, but within the same continuity and universe. That this was going to be straight up reboot, straight up remake. And that's when I think trouble really started to brew. Because all of a sudden, you are taking everybody's hopes of some kind of continuation to the original Ghostbusters franchise and throwing it out the window. That's what you were doing. You were throwing the ideas, the hopes and the dreams of a movie. You were throwing it out the door. Now, I do apologize if I kind of paused there for a second before starting to discuss that. I wasn't blanking out or anything. I was trying to think about what to say, and I was also looking up the information. But like I said, when word got out that it was not going to be a continuation of some sorts, even in a soft retcon reboot kind of way, within the same continuity, again, like I said, that's when trouble began, and it just got even worse when the teaser trailer came out. The first trailer came out. That's when trouble began, and now I think the second trailer, I'm guessing, didn't do as well trying to win people over, and it's even worse. And yet now you have people like James, AlphaOmegaSin, Joe Vargas, and anybody else who voices their opinion of, hey, I'm not going to see this movie because this is not the Ghostbusters we were thinking it was going to be, and this is more of a parody of Ghostbusters than a legit Ghostbusters film. Then, so be it. People have a right to say what they want to say. You can't expect us to all like the same thing. Now, I understand there's a lot of feminist groups and such, and critical groups and everything. They feel that with James and Alpha and Joe and anybody else that are voicing their opinion, like voicing their similar opinions of this, basically feel that they're bashing it because it's an all-female team. No, it's not that. They're not bashing it because it's an all-female team. I mean, you have Megan McCarthy, who's one of the best female comedians out there today. One of the best. One of the best female, like I say, one of the best female comedic actresses out there today. You got, like I said, you got Melissa McCarthy, you got Kate McKinnon, you got Kristen Wiig, Melissa and Kristen, two of the biggest names they have, comedic names that they have. Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon, like I said. I mean, even having Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself in it, it's still not enough. It's not enough, if you will, to win people over, because what it is the fact that this is not a legit, straight up continuation. Here's the thing. It's okay to sometimes create a new show or create a new version of something on the big screen. There is no doubt about it. There are movies that have come out and they've just gone by the name of the movie they're remaking or they're trying to connect to, and they just go by that regular name. Okay? I looked at I'll give you an example. 2007, when the CGI Ninja Turtle movie came out, pretty much when you take a look at the connection it had, especially at the ending, you knew it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, but in CGI mode. With CGI animation. But it didn't say it was. It just said it was TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was no indication it was 4. And at first, there was no indication there was a connection. But yet, as you watch the film, and like I said, towards the end, you kind of saw that there was a connection and that it was indeed the fourth film. I mean, heck, they packaged the film along with the first three films, thus giving you the indication that it's part of the continuity. Same continuity, same storyline and everything. Well, same continuity based stories and everything. Same universe. The only difference is it's CGI, unlike the other three movies. And the other difference is it's not numbered. It's just TMNT. But yet, as I said, when you look at the ending, of it, as well as watch the movie and you kind of get some clues, you kind of you get that feeling, you get that indication that it is the fourth movie. It just doesn't say it, and that's by not saying it's the fourth movie and doing what it's doing. It sort of takes upon itself to be like a soft retcon, of the original films. Except it's still part of the same universe. It's just softly retconned everything to be a little different. You know, it's just still the same. It's still the same continuity and everything, but it's softly retconned to the fact that it's the same storyline. It's the same continuity, but you don't have to watch the previous three movies to get into it. You know, you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it without having to watch the other three movies. And I think the thing is with Ghostbusters is you don't get that same vibe because it's not a soft retcon that's taking place in the same continuity and same storyline based world that the first two Ghostbusters took place in. Instead, it's just a straight up remake and reboot, if not in the eyes of some people, more so a parody of what the Ghostbusters were. And again, it's nothing against the female cast. It's nothing against Melissa McCarthy. Nothing against Kristen Wiig. Nothing against Leslie Jones. Katie McKinnon. It's nothing against them. I'm sure they did the best they could with this film. I'm sure they did the best with what they were given. I have nothing against that. Neither does James. Neither does AlphaOmegaSin. And or Joe Vargas, Angry Joe. Nobody has a problem with the female cast. It's the fact that what you're doing pretty much by showing these trailers, and yes, sometimes the old saying is you can indeed judge a book by its cover, and that's what these trailers are. They are the cover to this movie. That is what these trailers are. They are the cover to the book that is this movie. You know, you're pretty much in the eyes of those people spitting on what made Ghostbusters Ghostbusters. Again, nobody would have a problem if you just called it Ghostbusters. No problem. As long as you indicated that it's within the same continuity. It's sort of a soft reboot, retcon that takes place in the continuity with maybe some of the cast members, like the original Ghostbusters members of Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, God, I can't think his name. I just had it. We just had his name. Basically, of Peter, Ray, and Winston, they wouldn't have a problem if maybe you allowed them to make a cameo to where they pass the torch to this new group, to where maybe these young ladies, they idolize them, and that's what brings them together. And then they meet them in person, and they basically give them the kind of like the nod of approval and pass the torch to them. Like you could have a scene where Bill Murray's character, Peter Venkman, hands over one of the proton packs to Christine Riggs or Melissa McCarthy's character, thus you're passing the torch to them. And thus you're indicating to the fan base, to the viewers, to the audience that yes, it is a soft retcon, it is a soft reboot, but it's in the same story context and the same story continuity as the original first two movies. That is the problem that a lot of people have with this. It's not the female cast, it's the fact that you're not staying true to what made Ghostbusters Ghostbusters, and instead what you're doing is you pretty much have turned it into a joke, into a parody. Now, like I said, a lot of people are going to say you can't judge it just by the trailer. Well, let me remind you again of something. When Gem came out, we saw the freaking trailers for that. The teaser and the trailers. The one teaser and the one or two trailers we got. And guess what? We judged it pretty much by the fact that it was bad. People that went and saw it confirmed that it was bad as the trailers showcased. So, who's to say that these trailers are not who's to say that when the people go and see this, they're not going to have that same vibe they had with Gem? The point I think James Rofle, Joe Vargas, AlphaOmegaSin, I think what they, along with anybody else that feels this way, are trying to get across is, one, nothing against the female cast. Great choice. Two, that cast probably did the best they could with what they had. But three, the thing that's making everybody angry is this is basically a spit in the face of the Ghostbusters franchise. And instead of either giving us a third movie, maybe with the same concept, or at least indicating that this is sort of a soft retcon reboot within the same story-based continuity to where maybe the torch is passed to them from the original Ghostbusters, is what's making them pissed off. And the fact that to them, just looking at this trailer and in the first trailer, these first two trailers, it's nothing more to them than a slap in the face and a parody of what Ghostbusters was. That's all it is, in my opinion. Again, a lot of us might be wrong. A lot of us that will probably choose not to go see the movie because we feel it's a slap in the face of what made Ghostbusters Ghostbusters. Maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe it might be better than we think. But I think the problem is overall is instead of doing a Ghostbusters film where it's connected somewhat to the original two in a soft retcon reboot kind of way that allows it to remain in the same story-based continuity, I think is what's really bugging a lot of people. So that's just my take on it. Maybe the movie will be good. Maybe they might prove us wrong. But who knows? I have nothing against the cast choice. And maybe it might be better than we think. But this is one of those cases that a lot of people can't judge a movie by its trailer. Just like sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. So, that's all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.